Hi, and thank you for attending today's presentation of soft skills. Career Services is presenting today our soft skills series. My name is Brenda Brinkerhoff, and I'm one of the Career Services Advisors with Independence University, and I encourage and welcome your participation. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, please use the chat bar. In our room today with Career Services is Holly Picorni. There's a lot to cover in today's presentation, so if you have any questions that I'm unable to answer, then you could privately message one of these advisors, and there will be time at the end for questions. So please stay all the way to the end, and I'll be going over many of the resources that Career Services provides as well. Continually throughout the presentation, I will be citing several resources that you will have an opportunity to review on your own time, so you might want to take note of that as well. Now, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I want you all to know what Career Services' purpose is so that there's some clarification as to why we do what we do here. I will be introducing the team at the end of this presentation as well, so if you'd like to see who your Career Services advisor is, then just continue to watch the entire presentation. All right, so Career Services gives you specialized career-driven advice for all your various online degree programs. Career Services has been established to educate you on how to build your own personal brand name. We'll provide tools such as networking and communication skills to help you navigate through the market and find an industry that is your perfect fit. Our goal is for you to obtain employment in your chosen field and receive the highest salary possible. Consider us your career coach. We can't land you the job, but we can definitely help you get there. We will provide employment opportunities either in advancement or promotions within your existing career, new positions, or you can apply for help in writing for a business plan. Career Services is dedicated to the professional and personal development of our students as well. So many have asked the question, what is professional and personal development? Well, here's a definition that I found on Business Directory. Basically, what it refers to is the acquisition of skills and the knowledge for career advancement, which encompasses all types of learning opportunities ranging from, say, a college degree to formal and informal coursework that is learning situated in practice through consultation, coaching, mentoring, and reflective supervision, which is why we offer soft skills resources to you. You may ask also, what is the differences between soft skills and hard skills? Well, unlike hard skills, which are about a person's skill set and ability to perform a certain type of task or activity, soft skills are actually personal attributes that enhance an individual's interaction, job performance, and career prospects. Soft skills are often described by using terms associated with personality traits, the ability to be practical and to genuinely just like other people. It's often said that hard skills will get you an interview, but you need the soft skills to get and keep the job. These soft skills we are teaching in Career Services apply to all of our programs because soft skills are for everyone and not designed to be job specific. All right, well, here are just a few of the attributes employers are looking for. I know we all think we know everything there is to know, but no matter where you are at in your professional development, it's important to find out what employers are looking for and determine where you have the most room to improve. All right, well, today I will be presenting the first webinar in the Soft Skills series, which is number 1 in a series of 12 presentations that last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour each. And this is in hopes that we will aid in improving your career readiness and to obtain the skills needed to get and keep the job. All right, so today's topic is on first impressions, which is one of the many attributes of soft skills. It's been long assumed that employee skills are naturally occurring, but they are not. And in fact, most businesses are only now coming to the realization that their employees lack the soft skills necessary. We will touch on each of these subtopics. Let's start with your professional appearance. Hi, welcome Summer to the class. Okay. All right. As you can see from this chart, the #1 turnoff for employers is their appearance. Actually, appearance does matter. This is not to say that the best looking candidate will be selected, but it does mean that the most technically talented candidate may not be selected. All right. So it doesn't matter if you have all the skills necessary. You may not get hired because of an unprofessional image presented in an interview. All right, so on to personal appearance in your professional life. What clothes you wear at work depends much on the environment that you're working in. Take a look at what your contemporaries are wearing and dress to fit in. Err on the side of conservative. If you have to make any difficult choices, keep your garments clean and pressed, and remember that you're working to earn a living, not to get a date. A professional appearance is so important. Can you see here in these pictures what might be wrong? For instance, can you see the gentleman there has his slacks too short and he's not wearing socks? And then the gal there in the middle, she has a very, very short skirt on and fishnet stockings, which are inappropriate for a professional attire. And then the gal there with the open-toed shoes. Many companies have in their policy not to allow open-toed shoes, but rather always they always want, for safety purposes, you to have a closed-toe shoe. All right. And the next slide on professional appearance, I'm asking the question, what does your posture say about your motivation for getting the job? Notice the differences between these two pictures of women. Which woman appears to want the job more? When you have a professional appearance, you will get noticed, recognized, and will more likely have a positive influence on others. As well, you will feel much better about yourself, gaining confidence and having a great attitude. So you can see here that the gal on the left, she is sitting upright. She has the correct type of shoes. She's not laying back, looking uninterested in the position. She isn't showing too much skin, and she just genuinely looks attentive and focused and wanting to have the job. She looks like she wants to be there. Okay, so another part of your appearance is obviously what you look like physically, so get some exercise. This is clear and simple. Take a vigorous walk, preferably early in the morning. It will help you in more ways than you can imagine. For instance, you will have more energy, be better able to cope with stressful situations. It will improve your self-image, and it helps to counter depression and anxiety. You will be less likely to experience fatigue, and it improves your ability to relax as you feel less tense. Of course, walking isn't the only form of exercise, but it is the easiest, and if it becomes obvious that you reap many benefits from something as simple as walking, then you can imagine what swimming, rowing, jogging, or handball might do for you. I had spoke about overcoming stereotypes in last year's presentation on professionalism, first impressions. So if you want to know more about that, then stay to the end and I will show you how you can watch the recording. Unfortunately, there is such a thing as weight-based discrimination, which has been known to affect aspects of employment all the way from hiring to firing, promotions, pay allocations, career counseling, and discipline. The bias appears to be most prominent during the first process when an employer knows the potential employee at the very least, and therefore is more likely to be influenced by the stereotype. All right, so the next subject is image management. These people think that they look pretty good, and you might even see that they look pretty good. You may even have some of their same attributes when you're on a Saturday afternoon. However, that doesn't mean that it's appropriate for all occasions, especially if we're talking about going in on a job interview. Think about what the grumpiest, old, high-up person in the company might think of your appearance, and then dress accordingly. Try to be self-aware of how you actually fit into the occasion you're dressing for, rather than focusing on what you want. Think about the big picture. Everyone wants to be thought of as a class act. We want to be viewed as competent. We want to feel valued. Everyone wants to live successful, enriched, and fulfilled lives. And it's easy in today's world, especially if you're trying to balance work and family and professional goals at the same time. How can you achieve a professional appearance when you have so many things tugging you in different directions? One of the best ways to tackle the balance issue is to work on one aspect at a time until you achieve the harmony you're searching for. Okay, so I would like to present the topic of dressing for success. I'd like us to listen to a short video by Holly Picorni. She's one of our career services advisors, and we have a professional development series that I'm going to play this recording for you. So just give me one moment. All right, and that website is coming up. It's going to play automatically, and if you actually are using your iPhone, you're not going to be able to hear this. Just give it a few minutes and it will be over with soon. All right. That was a great video by Holly Picorni. So I'm going to go ahead and get us back on our slideshow. All right, now going in more to the dress code, I wanted to present to you some different types of dress that you'll see in the office. There's actually no one suit fit all approach for what to wear. From your jacket to your shoes to even your accessories, you'll want to consider the culture of the place before you pick out what you wear. There's so much difference in what people wear to the office, so get a good grasp of that so that you're showing up in the right outfit. For example, if you're interviewing for a position with a finance company in New York, you're going to be wearing a suit and tie. They show up to a cool startup company in San Francisco wearing that, and they're never going to hire you. A couple of ways you can figure this out. If you have a contact or friend who works at the company, see if they can give you a heads up as to what people wear. If you don't have that luxury, then hang out in front of the office. Sit in a coffee shop across the street or try to get a glimpse at what people are wearing, or even call the front desk and talk to the receptionist and let them know that you have an interview and you just want to know what kind of clothes that the guys around the office usually wear, and don't seem, overdressed or underdressed. Just let them know that that is your concern, and typically they're really willing to help you. So that being said, there's a couple of different looks that I wanted to show you with being conservative. For companies that have a conservative look, then for ladies, I recommend you wear a suit, a jacket with a pair of pants or a skirt in dark gray or navy, and carrying a briefcase or purse, but not both of them. Finish the look off with basic black pumps and a simple, elegant jewelry. And for men, you want to probably make sure you're going with the very textbook suit. Colors that are traditional, blues, blacks, grays, suits that have a classic style. Go to get a good shoe shining too to make sure your suit has been well pressed or ironed so that it looks as if it's sharp. Tailoring is really important too. You want a modern fit. What happens a lot is that people have their interviewing outfit that's been sitting in their closet for the past couple of years, and they dust it off for the occasion. You don't want to be one of those guys. Get something that's going to be really sharp and isn't going to look dated. All right, and then the business casual dress is a lot more common. So with business casual, think what you would normally wear to work and then dress it up a little bit for the interview. For ladies, something like a dark skirt, a crisp white blouse, a statement necklace, a good bag, and polished boots or pumps, whatever is weather appropriate. A shift dress with a cardigan or blazer would work well as well. For men, this is where you'll have a lot of freedom. It depends on how casual the office may be. It could mean slacks and a button-down, or if it's a jean and shirt kind of place, you may want to wear jeans and pair them with a dress shirt and a jacket, just no tie. Another look is going with the vest and tie. Maybe the sleeves rolled up so it's a bit more casual. With casual companies, jeans are perfectly fine. You just want to dress them up a bit. All right, and then for the startup style, say you're going in as self-employed type of person that contracts out. Maybe you're a graphic artist and you don't even have to show up to the office because you work from home or something like that. If you're going to a place where everyone comes to work in jeans and flannels, you don't want to show up with a black suit on. It will signal that you won't fit in or that you don't understand the company's culture. Try wearing something that you're comfortable in, something that's work appropriate and something that represents you well. So for ladies, as a suggestion, wear a nice pair of dark jeans, a simple shirt or sweater, some flats, maybe a small bag. And for men, you may want to show that you fit into the company's culture, but there's actually ways you can go about doing that and still looking professional while dressing down. Maybe a collared shirt with a hoodie on top of that, or a collared shirt with a vest and the top button undone, and definitely go with jeans. You also still want to have a closed-toed shoe, so just a pair of basic black or brown shoes is fine. All right, and so for our next subject is on personal hygiene. Personal hygiene is really just a perception. Hopefully no one really has poor hygiene. If you're not careful to consider other people's perspectives, it may appear that you don't have good hygiene. Here are a couple simple rules of engagement that will help you to avoid throwing off the wrong signals to prospective employers. So for grooming, yes, it sounds like something you would hear in a pet store, but it is an essential part of professional appearance. You have to take care of yourself, and that includes taking an effort to look good. Please note that sentence didn't say look perfect. It said that you need to make an effort to look good. So what does grooming entail? It includes your hair, your nails, And that goes for women and men and both. If you take care of the basics, you will make a great presentation to others. For hair, get it cut, get it trimmed regularly. Keep it in a style that suits you and is easy to manage, moderate, and groom your facial hair. Grooming can be okay, but play it safe, and generally for the interview, it's probably better to play it safe and shave it off until you know what their company policies are. Your hair should be done in a stylish yet conservative manner. And as far as nails go, keep your nails on an average length, not so long that a potential manager would actually question your ability to function at work. For ladies, only use subdued colored polish, such as your French manicure or clear polish. Save the bright red for the evenings out. Wearing something traditional, non-glittery is acceptable. Basically, your nails should not be attracting more attention during an interview than your skills are. And then also makeup. When women apply makeup, make it natural, yet highlight your best features. That's what professional experts in the workplace expect. Makeup should be minimal. Leave the glitter eyeshadow at home. And then, of course, your teeth. As for your teeth, well, brush them, floss them, and let the dentist take a look at them every 6 months. Everyone interviewing for a position knows it's best to make eye contact and to smile often. But for people with broken teeth or teeth that are discolored, crooked, or missing, smiling in your interview can prove awkward. On the other hand, covering your mouth while talking during an interview isn't a good option either, unless you're applying to be a ventriloquist. But even then, the job screener would be watching your mouth to see if they can see your lips move. Research has shown that people with good-looking teeth have a much better chance of getting hired over someone with visibly bad oral health. This is especially true for customer service and good entry-level positions. Even from a very early age, we tend to associate how one presents their oral health with all kinds of biases that reflect some of the social biases that we have today. And again, that goes along with stereotyping. And again, if you want to learn more about that, I presented it in last year's series. All right, so further on personal hygiene, again, like I said before, personal hygiene is really just a perception of it. Here are some more examples of what not to do so that you don't miss your next opportunity. So here's a famous movie star, Angelina Jolie, that you may recognize. And she has a tattoo, but unfortunately we're not all celebrities. This again is based on biased opinions, but your body art might get you into trouble when it comes to being selected for a job. Typically, tattoos and piercings, they're actually quite common in society. However, 31% of employers ranked having a visible tattoo as one of the top attributes that would deter them from promoting an employee. In the past, tattoos were actually done either as a representation of a person's tribe or were just limited to the name and religious belief of an individual. Today, tattoos have become a fashion statement. People say that they are judged on the basis of the type of tattoo that they are wearing. Apart from just judging the person, employers think it gives a negative impression of a person and doesn't go along with the professional attire. Some even consider it a sign of disrespect when displayed while working. If the particular company does not allow a person with tattoos or piercings, then they can reject your application or fire you if you're actually working with them showing. I want to just clarify that this is not discrimination. If the job says you cannot have them showing or displayed while you're working, then they can take action or not hire you at all. It would be the same as if you were applying for a position that required you to speak English. And if you didn't, well then you just couldn't do the job. So you wouldn't be eligible for the job. It's the same thing. So when going on for a job interview, you have to keep a lot of those things in mind. You're representing their company, not you. As you don't know the policies and rules of the company, you have to take care of your body art. If you have a tattoo on your arm, then just wear long sleeves. Similarly, wear pants to cover tattoos on your legs and ankles. If you have piercings other than an earlobe piercing, consider removing them all. If you get selected, then discuss the company's policy with the HR. Tell them about your body art and piercings. The employer may have some leniency with that, or they may say, no, you have to remove it all. And whatever they say, that's really what goes if you want the job. So body odor is another subject. You know that the employer is evaluating your appearance, but did you know that they're also paying attention to the way that you smell? Don't worry, most employers won't sniff you before you sit down for the interview, but they do notice if you have an odor that comes with it. It could be a deal breaker. While your shampoo or body lotion may be delightful, it is best to minimize any kind of odor. Pay attention to these common odors and make sure that the employer isn't holding their nose during your interview. It may seem silly that the employer would decide not to hire you based on the way that you smell. What does it have to do with your ability to do your job? Remember that the employer is not hiring you merely for your skill, but they are hiring the whole package. The way that you present yourself is even more important if you're talking to customers or otherwise representing their organization. Good personal hygiene is crucial for a job interview. If you smell like you haven't showered, brushed your teeth, or put on deodorant, very few employers will want to be around you 8 hours every day, even if you're a perfect fit for the position. If you're not sure if you're clean enough, shower again. Some employers would prefer not to hire smokers as well. There's a perception that smokers actually take more smoke breaks, and that a lot of people hate that smell or they're allergic to the smell. So if you're a smoker, don't give the employer the opportunity to discriminate against you by coming into the interview smelling like cigarettes. Since a number of people are allergic to that kind of thing, and also perfumes, many organizations have adopted a scent-free policy. If your perfume or cologne is overwhelming, the interviewer may find it distracting as well, and it's going to take away from them seeing your skills and abilities. Wearing strong perfumes or colognes make you appear unaware and inconsiderate of other people. Make sure that you're clean and skip the scent. Also, certain foods such as onions, garlic, and strong pieces of spices and things like that, they'll stick to your clothes, hair, and skin. These smells can be strong and unpleasant. Don't eat or cook strong-smelling foods before an interview either. If you think that you might be carrying an odor, shower and change. The interviewer doesn't need to know what you had for lunch. If you show up to the job interview smelling like alcohol, no employer is going to hire you. While it goes without saying that you should never drink alcohol before a job interview, keep it in mind that some extra strong mouthwashes smell like alcohol. So avoid confusion by skipping the mouthwash and just brush your teeth instead. All right, so for the next subtopic, selling yourself as a product, I always encourage my students to ask themselves, if I were a product, would I buy me? So go ahead and ask yourself the same question. I'll just go ahead and ask you. So I'll ask, if you were a product, would anyone want to buy you? The right look can get you the opportunity to get a chance to sell yourself. The wrong look can shut down your chances altogether. And the first 30 seconds of a meeting, that person is already, sometimes unconsciously, assigned a stereotype to you. Along with the right look comes the right nonverbal and verbal attitude. The right attitude can get you closer to your business goals in less time. Consider the following. Maintaining your poise or self-regulation. Make it a priority to present you as positively as you possibly can. Be aware of how you are being received. Be self-aware. True professionals are the first to be hired. They are the first to be considered for promotions. They are the ones awarded and the valuable projects. Success rates are undisputably higher among those who are professional as compared to those who are unprofessional. Make sure you fall into the professional category. Your demeanor should exude confidence, but not cockiness. Your attitude should be positive. Be polite, well-spoken, positive, and self-assured, whether you're in an interview with coworkers, superiors, or clients. Our next subject is on body language. poor body language can derail an interview regardless of how confident and well-spoken that you can possibly be. Body language is as much a part of your communication style as what you say verbally. It's really about how you say it. Impressions are made within seconds of interviewing. So consider this gentleman that's here. He has his hands folded together and he's looking down. What that tells me is that he's a little anxious, maybe nervous, and he definitely has a lot more on his mind than just this interview that he's about to embark upon. So in my mind, if I were to walk out knowing that he was the gentleman I was about to interview, I would say he's pretty disinterested in the job. He's got better places to be right now. Consider the first step to entering an interview, the handshake. While it takes less than 10 seconds to complete a handshake, in that time, the interviewer has already developed an impression of your character based on the eye contact, based on the firmness of your shake. Believe it or not, that a weak handshake and a lack of eye contact can leave the impression you're timid and insecure. A sincere and firm handshake with eye contact expresses professionalism and confidence. An overpowerful handshake with a fixed gaze may come across as overconfident and arrogant. So be cautious with your next handshake and start the interview off with a positive impression. All right. Okay, so the next slide is showing you these different pictures with the different body language. In an interview, body language is present from head to toe. So consider the following, and we've touched upon these already, but with posture. Whether you're sitting or standing, your posture projects a level of confidence and engagement in the conversation. When one slumps, it implies to the interviewer a lack of confidence and interest. Sitting stiff as a rock implies nervousness, and it creates an uncomfortable situation for building rapport. Sitting at the tip of your chair implies you don't want to be there. Lying back on the chair with your ankles on top of the other may come off appearing unprofessional and too relaxed. In general, crossing your arms and legs may be interpreted as building a barrier. To project professionalism, confidence, and engagement, consider sitting on the chair with your lower back touching or close to the back panel while leaning 10 degrees forward. Keep your hands relaxed in your lap and feet grounded on the floor. When standing, avoid crossing your arms or placing them in your pockets. The point is to project a balanced posture that is not limp or overly stiff. So you'll see in the picture here some of the postures I'm talking about. With this gentleman's shoulders being back, he seems a little hostile. With him folding his arms, he seems a little aggressive. With this gentleman, he has one foot out the door. He doesn't really want to be there. With her, she's crossed her legs, and that says, I don't want to communicate. Everything's fine about this gal, except for she's got her arms up, which makes her look defensive. This gentleman has his head tilted just a little too much, making you think he is judging you to be stupid. So a lot of people will say, well, how can I stand? Simply said, you can have your arms down to your side. You could actually even be holding your hands. Just stand straight without your arms folded back too far or your shoulders folded back too far, with a straight look in your eyes as well. And then speaking of eye contact, you and the interviewer need to connect. It's beyond words, actually. It's body language. However, there's a fine balance between good eye contact and when eye contact becomes a weird gaze or stare that can make the other person feel uncomfortable. When you stare without having breaks in between, a casual conversation can come across as a lecture, whether you are listening or speaking. Maintain eye contact with your interviewer for a couple of seconds at a time, no more than 7 or 10, and then glance away before returning eye contact again. If you are looking down to take notes, look up occasionally, especially when it appears a special point is being made or when you're asked a question. So the next thing is your voice. Speed, tone, and pitch combined presents an impression. Talking too fast can be hard to understand and appears as nervousness. When your tone projects apology or defense, you can come across as unconfident and insecure. When you don't make changes between your tone and pitch, you can sound monotone, making it more difficult for the other person to stay engaged. Learn to take control over your voice. If you're nervous, it can come across in your pitch, so take a breath to help you relax before speaking. Be conscious of your tone and pitch to offer variation and to help emphasize certain points. And then the next thing is the bobblehead syndrome. Some people have a tendency to bobble their heads as a gesture of agreement, but when you nod in excess during your conversation, it becomes a distraction. It can be interpreted as something you are agreeing to on everything just for the sake of wanting to please. You can lose credibility in such an instance. To avoid appearing like a bobblehead, nod occasionally to show you're still engaged and have control over your nod. You can also tilt your head just slightly, not too much that you come off as looking at them as if you think they're stupid, but just off a little bit to show that you're engaged. Again, try listening more carefully as other ways to show that you're engaged. All right, and then lastly, let me go back to that. There it is. Your extremities. There are people who do certain things out of habit, such as flaring arms while talking, twirling hair, playing with a pen, rocking back and forth in their chair, shaking or thumping their feet. Many of these actions occur unconsciously. However, there are distractions to the people you're speaking with, and they may be perceived as signs that you're bored or having trouble focusing. Some people also touch their nose or face frequently when they're nervous. An interviewer may perceive this as a sign you are not being totally honest. Be conscious of what you do with your hands, legs, feet, and that will help you take control of your movements. Be aware of your own body language and also read your interviewer's body language to give you hints about how she is responding to you. The interview may start off very formal, but as you both become acquainted with one another, the mood may relax, and you may adapt your body language to reflect what you sense from the interviewer. There is no absolute rule around body language, but it would be wise to avoid any chance of being misinterpreted. You can properly prepare your body language before heading into an interview by watching yourself in the mirror, acting out how you introduce yourself and speak. Another helpful way is to have someone interview you and video record the entire session. Review how you present yourself and become aware of problem areas to adjust before your interview. Now, on to another video presentation in our professional development series. This is Christine Fike that we're going to watch her video on body language. So let me get that up for you. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get back to resuming the sharing of the PowerPoint. Okay, looks like it's up on the screen again. All right, so that was what we had for body language. I hope you all had a lot to get out of that. And our next subject is on self-confidence. All right, so confidence is obvious and it's contagious. It's actually envied. And it's also often overlooked as being important enough to work on. If you have too little, and you'll never be able to reach your full potential, and having too much, you'll eventually blow opportunities that are given to you. So, for one, display confidence, but always question yourself. Even the most confident among us has doubts. But lingering doubts undermine the confidence of those who work under us. Eventually, unwinding the trust others have in your leadership and the task at hand, leaders need to be a source of guidance to inspire others and keep group confidence strong. But at the same time, you should always continue to question and reassess your decisions in private. Also, know when to back down. It takes a humble person to admit when you're wrong and back down from your decisions and convictions. It was Shakespeare who said, "The fool doth think he is wise. he is wise, but the wise man knows him to be a fool. It takes a strong leader to admit they are wrong and to learn from their mistakes. Feeling capable is more important than feeling confident. Confidence is feeling like you already have the ability to succeed at something. But feeling capable knows that even though you may not have the ability to overcome a challenge right now, you can eventually acquire it. No one should feel confident in everything because no one has mastered every skill and ability. But you should feel as though you can eventually do what it takes to meet challenges that are new to you. All right, so self-confidence. If you had to characterize yourself as confident or overconfident or underconfident, which one would you pick? Although sometimes difficult to identify, which aspect of confidence and self-awareness do you suspect that you struggle with most? As you can see in the table here, overconfidence seems to be the one that people struggle with most. So with overconfidence, it's just like with this picture, and the cat is not very wise in his decision to confront the eagle, because guess which one is ultimately going to win? There is a huge difference between confidence and prideful cockiness. Most of us know the glaring difference between the two personality types. Well, everyone except the cocky ones, because in all likelihood they will never consider that they're anything but perfect, and they certainly wouldn't consider changing anything about themselves to help them grow in their career. No need to. They think they already know everything. On one hand, you have confident people. These are the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. You can spot them a mile away. As their confidence precedes them, it's a belief system, attitude, and a can-do spirit that makes them wake up each and every day looking at the bright side of life. These people are positive and contagious, and they add value and energy to most teams they work with. On the other hand, you have cocky people. They're the people who think they know it all, which have a tendency to alienate others. They often don't know their own limitations and live in a constant state of denial. So, self-confidence. Too little confidence? Is it a sign of low self-esteem? Low self-esteem is typically pushed by fear, concern of embarrassment, worry, and rejection, fear of criticism, or fear of failure, to name just a few. Very simply, it is how you feel about yourself. It includes your opinions, thoughts, beliefs, images you have about yourself. And these messages are sent to yourself from your own self, and many exist at the subconscious level. That is why it can be confusing to see our own degree of self-acceptance. Notice that of the traits mentioned on this slide, extremes on either side of the spectrum often indicate a lack of self-esteem. So, self-blame, self-criticism, or constantly putting others down. See the difference? You're either giving it to others or you're doing that to yourself. Over or underachieving, eating, working, doing. Playing the victim. Not taking responsibility for your life. Turning decisions, making power over to someone else. Talking too much and taking too much responsibility for others, dominating and making decisions for them. Fear of change and reluctance to take risks. Constant negativity or being so optimistic that reality is denied. Reacting to others with extreme emotion or no emotion at all. Also, there's these boastful, lying, embellishing, exaggerating, and overbearing behavior around others. Demanding to be right, needing to have agreement, or having your own way most of the time, or constantly accentuating to the will and opinions of others. Constantly comparing yourself to others, thereby feeling inferior or superior. Having persuasive, deep-seated feelings of fear, terror, or panic. Speaking with lots of shouldn'ts, oughts, should have, and yes, buts. Interpreting the hurtful words or actions of others as proof of your unworthiness. So our last subject here is on professional courtesy. tact and courtesy is actually something that has gone out the door. I went ahead and put in some funny jokes here that you can go ahead and entertain yourself with. I want to talk about the respect toward other people. And respect towards others should be standard behavior in the workplace, regardless of role, rank, or reputation. But as companies have become more virtual, global, and stressed out, this assumption can break down unless we focus on it more explicitly. So there's this joke here. He's meeting his maker, it looks like, on the other side of things, and he's saying, oh, it looks like you ran a large financial institute. And he says, I did, and for that reason alone, you should extend a little professional courtesy, maybe getting into heaven or something. How funny is that? So in the not too distant past, just statistically speaking, the majority of work was conducted either face-to-face or through real-time conversations in the office. Factories or at a meeting or through customer visits. These personal interactions allow people to get to know each other and create human connections. They also foster a basic degree of courtesy, since it's awkward to have continuing contact with someone who is rude, obnoxious, or just simply unpleasant to be around. But for many people today, the majority of communication is neither face-to-face nor real-time. In addition to the prevalence of email, voicemail, teleconference, and video conferences, they have replaced other opportunities for in-person get-togethers. In addition, managers are traveling more than ever to keep in touch with global accounts, which has further reduced regular collateral contact and made many offices look like ghost towns. The net result of this shift is that much more of your work today is conducted interpersonally, which may mean that there may be less pressure to observe social niceties. They say that nice gets you a long way. That is so true. Or you can kill them with kindness. That's another saying I've heard. A couple of recent studies support this possibility. From the University of Michigan, in fact, they found that today's college students are less empathetic than those of past generations. The researchers speculate that this is because they have grown up with more reliance on digital communication. Separately, a study at Duke found that Americans had 1/3 fewer friends and confidence than they had 2 decades earlier, possibly because digital interactions were replacing personal connections. Encourage your colleagues and peers to be courteous. Push back on bad behavior when they occur. The reality is that most people don't plan to be mean or insensitive. It just happens in the heat of the moment without them realizing the impact on others in most occasions. So if you can find the right way of calling out these behaviors, it may be possible to reduce their impact and prevent them in the future. Most of us want to work with colleagues who treat us with respect and courtesy. These days, however, we might have to put in some extra effort to make that happen. Just like the joke here goes with this coworker and this other coworker. I just thought these were just so funny, I had to share them. All right, so that is it. This is the time. If anybody has any questions, let me know. For those of you who attend the live session here, we will already give you your certificates. We've taken attendance, and our Salt Lake online students at Stevens-Henniger and Independence University will get those. We print them up once each quarter, so please be patient. So we want to see that we're sending you out 3 certificates each time. So after the 3rd presentation is when I'll print them and send them out. Today's presentation can take from 1 to 2 weeks to show up as a recording on Shark. So for those of you who are watching the recording, please email me right here at this address, online.careerservices@stevenshenniger.edu. And I'm going to put that right there. All right, and tell me which recording you listened to and on what dates. I also want to hear that you've learned something from the presentation in your email. This helps us with the honor system of realizing you did watch it all the way through. So thank you for participating. All right, so we have our next soft skills series on February 25th when I will be presenting on professionalism in the workplace. So for additional resources and links, please please continue to watch. Mark your dates. These are the topics and subtopics for the upcoming soft skills I'll be presenting in 2014. So mark them on your calendar and try your best to attend the live session, as you'll be able to participate and contribute that way. Here are the references for today's the sources that came together. All the materials presented today came from these reliable sources. I encourage you to take note of them, research and study them on your own time for additional valuable insight that I wasn't able to share in this presentation. There were a total of 14 different resources used in this presentation today, so here are the other 7. All right, so please also take advantage of Career Services' other resources, such as our 22 video series on professional development that can be found on YouTube. Here's the address for you to view them yourself in your own time. This is not a certificate series, so you will not receive anything from viewing them. I showed you 2 of them in today's presentation to give you an idea what they're all about. As well, I promised that if you watch to the end, I would show you how to get to the old soft skills series for 2013 and 2012. They're available on Shark. Here's the website. What you'll do is click on videos and webinars right here. And then go down about halfway and soft skills will come up. You will always have a rolling 12 recordings available. If you want to see more, then click on the archived webinars below for your topics. We started soft skills in 2012, so there's a lot. Also, by watching the recordings, all of them are eligible for certificates as well. Follow the rules that are in each one of them and in whatever they tell you to do in order to get your certificate. And here, lastly, is our department. If you need to contact Career Services, here is their information. If you don't know who your career advisor is, then email online.careerservices@stevenshenniker.edu and request to know who you are working with. Thank you again for attending, and have a great rest of your day.